Hello and welcome to another episode of today's GK. I am Pooja Dwivedi and in this segment we bring to you objective questions to help you crack prelims. So let's begin with the practice question of the last segment. Consider the following. Removal by the Election Commission of India, obtaining registration by fraud, declared illegal by the central government, which of the conditions mentioned above is or are appropriate to deregister a political party? The correct answer to this question is option C, because one is incorrect and the second and the third statements are correct. Recently, the Election Commission of India has notified the updated list of registered political parties seeking deregistration of parties which do not contest elections. Also, it raised concerns over misuse of income tax exemption law. A party can only be deregistered if its registration was obtained by fraud, if it is declared illegal by the central government, or if a party amends its internal constitution and notifies the ECI that it can no longer abide by the Indian constitution. So, let's move on to the next question. Consider the following statements. One Sun, One World, One Grid plan has been taken up under the Technical Assistance Program of the World Bank. The vision behind the OSOWOG is the sun never sets. We have to select the correct statement. Both these statements are correct. The correct answer is option C. India and the UK are likely to announce a joint declaration on One Sun, One World, One Grid, a concept New Delhi has been pushing through its International Solar Alliance at the upcoming COP26. One Sun, One World, One Grid plan has been taken up under the Technical Assistance Program of the World Bank and the vision behind it is the sun never sets. Moving on. Consider the following statements. Jowar grows in alluvial soils and shallow black soils. Maharashtra is the top jowar producing state. Jowar has high nutritional value. We have to select the correct statements. So, Maharashtra is yes, the top jowar producing state and jowar has high nutritional value. So, the correct answer to this question is option B. Genes that can increase the grain size of sorghum, a versatile grain crop used for human consumption, fodder and bioenergy generation, have been discovered according to a new report. The variety of the crop found in India is called jowar. Sorghum or jowar crop adapts to a wide range of soils but grows well in sandy loam soils having good drainage. And Maharashtra is the top jowar producing state and jowar has high nutritional value. Moving on, consider the following statements. Malaria is a mosquito-borne tropical disease caused by the genus flavivirus. There are no vaccines available for malaria and malaria spreads through the bites of infected female Anopheles mosquitoes. So, we have to select the correct statement. The first statement is incorrect because malaria is caused by genus Plasmodium. Second is also incorrect because there is a vaccine available for malaria, but the third is correct. So, the correct answer to this question is option C. The time has come to carry out molecular malaria surveillance to find out the drug-resistant variant so that corrective measures can be undertaken in time to avert any consequences. Malaria is a life-threatening mosquito-borne blood disease caused by Plasmodium parasites and known by its lab initials RTS, S, but branded as Mosquirix. The malaria vaccine was developed by GlaxoSmithKline company and that was approved by the European Medicines Agency in 2015. Malaria spreads through the bites of infected female Anopheles mosquitoes. Moving on, consider the following statements regarding Export Credit Guarantee Corporation of India. Export Credit Guarantee Corporation Limited is wholly owned by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. The Government of India had initially set up Export Risks Insurance Corporation in 1957 and was changed to Export Credit Guarantee Corporation Limited in 1964. So, we have to select the incorrect statement. Both these statements are actually correct. The correct answer should be option D, that neither one nor two. Recently, the Union Cabinet approved a capital infusion of Rs 4,400 crore in state-owned Export Credit Guarantee Corporation over 5 years, as well as plans to list the export insurer via an initial public offering, that is IPO. ECGC Limited is wholly owned by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. and the Government of India had initially set up Export Risks Insurance Corporation in 1957 and was changed to Export Credit Guarantee Corporation Limited in 1964. Moving on, consider the following statements. The river rises on Brahmagiri hills of Western Ghats, drains into the Bay of Bengal. The river is known as Ponni in Tamil language, and Harangi, 𝐏𝐸𝐬𝐿 and 𝐶𝐸𝐴 are the tributaries of the river. So we have to select the river. The correct answer to this question is option A, that is Cauvery. Recently, the Cauvery Water Management Authority directed Karnataka to immediately release the balanced quantum of water to Tamil Nadu. Cauvery is known as Ponni in Tamil, also known as Ganga of the South, and it is the fourth largest river of southern India. Rises on Brahmagiri hills of the Western Ghats in southwestern Karnataka state and descends the Eastern Ghats in a series of great falls and drains into Bay of Bengal through Pondicherry. Some of its tributaries are Harangi, 𝐏𝐸𝐬𝐿, 𝐶𝐸𝐴, 𝐴𝐸𝐿. Let's move forward. Consider the following statements with respect to the India Exports 2021. It has been launched by the Reserve Bank of India, and the objective is to grow the number of exporting MSMEs and increase MSME export by 50% in 2022. We have to select the correct statement. It has been launched by Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises. So, first statement is incorrect, but the second is correct. The correct answer is option B. The Union Minister for MSMEs virtually inaugurated the Indian Export Initiative and India Exports 2021 portals of India SME Forum in New Delhi. It aims to orient MSMEs free of cost with the objective of focusing on the untapped export potential in existing tariff lines and supporting MSMEs in order to grow the number of exporting MSMEs and increase MSME exports by 50% in 2022. Consider the following countries: Bangladesh, China, Vietnam, Laos, Thailand. So we have to select those countries which have a border with Myanmar. The correct answer to this question is option C, because Vietnam doesn't have a border with Myanmar. So Bangladesh, China, Laos and Thailand. Option C is correct. The United Nations chief is urging unified regional and international action to prevent the crises in Myanmar from becoming a large-scale conflict and multifaceted catastrophe in the heart of Southeast Asia and beyond. Myanmar is a country in Southeast Asia, and it is bordered by Bangladesh and India, China, Laos and Thailand, and Andaman Sea and Bay of Bengal. Moving on, let's look at the map. You can see the countries it is bordering. Moving on, consider the following statements with respect to prompt corrective action. The RBI introduced the prompt corrective action framework in 2002. The PCA framework is applicable to commercial banks, cooperative banks and non-banking financial companies. PCA is intended to help alert the regulator as well as investor and depositor if a bank is heading for trouble. So we have to select the correct statement. Correct answer using these statements actually. So yes, the RBI introduced the PCA in 2002, which is applicable only to commercial banks and not to cooperative banks and non-banking financial companies. Second is incorrect. First is correct. And third is also correct. So the correct answer should be option C. The Reserve Bank of India has removed Indian Overseas Bank from its prompt corrective action framework subject to certain conditions and continuous monitoring. The RBI introduced PCA framework in 2002 as a structured early intervention mechanism for banks that become undercapitalized due to poor asset quality or vulnerable due to loss of profitability. PCA is intended to help alert the regulator as well as the investor and depositor if a bank is heading for trouble, which is applicable only to commercial banks and not to cooperative banks and non-banking financial companies. Moving on, consider the following statements with regard to confidence of parties. The Green Climate Fund, the technology mechanism and the Cancun Adaptation Framework were established at COP23. COP is the apex decision-making authority of UNFCCC, so we have to select the incorrect statement. Second is correct, first is not, because at COP16, the Cancun COP16, the Green Climate Fund, Technology Mechanism and Cancun Adaptation Framework happened. So the correct answer to this question should be, as we had to select the incorrect one, A, one only. India may update its voluntary emissions control commitments ahead of or at the United Nations Climate Summit to be held in Glasgow in November. COP is the apex decision-making authority of UNFCCC, and the COP meets every year unless the parties decide otherwise. The first COP meeting was held in Berlin, Germany in March 1995. COP 16 at Cancun, held in 2010, established the Green Climate Fund, the Technology Mechanism, and Cancun Adaptation Framework. Moving on, consider the following factors: low population density, presence of sizable tribal population, strategic location along international borders, economic and infrastructural backwardness, non-viable nature of state finances. So we have to select those factors which can be considered for criteria for special category status for the Indian states. Actually, all these criteria are taken into consideration. So the correct answer to this question is option D. Bihar Chief Minister on Wednesday clarified that his party had not dropped the demand of special category status to Bihar, but it was up to the centre to take a decision on it. The erstwhile planning commission body, the National Development Council, granted special category status to states based on a number of features which included hilly and difficult terrain, low population density, presence of sizable tribal population, and strategic location along international borders, economic and infrastructural backwardness, non-viable nature of state finances. So let's move on to the practice question. Consider the following statements regarding the Build Back Better World initiative. It is an international infrastructure investment initiative launched by the World Bank for Developing and Lower Income Countries. So the B3W, to infuse investment by complying with these standards promoted by the Blue Dot Network. We have to select the correct answer. I hope you'll be answering it correctly in the comment segment. That's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.